Hey folks, it's me, Ranger, and I'm back again with another review. After a pretty exhausting week that I had, um, I thought I would give you guys another review before more work comes. So yeah, so today I thought I'd take a look at one of my favorite models in my dino collection. It is, of course, the CollectA Deluxe Deinocheirus. Now, before getting into the review, here are some facts about Deinocheirus. Deinocheirus, which name means horrible hands, was a genus of Ornithomimus that was discovered in the Namek Formation of Mongolia, which was around 71 to 69 million years ago. Now, I'm sure a lot of us know the interesting history of this one. It was around 1965 that only the arms of the dinosaur were found. So we probably had no real clue of what the body looked like. I remember some depictions of it being more or less basically an Ornithomimus on steroids, where it uses its claws to kill prey or whatever, basically a mindless freak of nature. Well, it wasn't until 2014 where more fossils were discovered, and we found out that the dinosaur was actually a bit more peaceful than originally thought. In fact, if you look at this now, it looks less threatening and more like a strange hybrid between a spoonbill, a camel, and basically an Ornithomimus. But yeah, and another thing about those fossils that were discovered in 2014, they were actually found after they were being smuggled, basically. Yeah, so yeah, the fossil black market was, and still is a bit of an issue, but I don't know too much about it, and we're gonna save that for another time. But yeah. But anyway, so basically Deinocheirus, as being said, was more peaceful as it was more of an omnivore than we previously thought. Now, the size of this dinosaur was 36 feet long, so pretty long, a fairly big theropod to say the least. Probably one of the bigger members of its kind. In fact, I believe it is the biggest ornithomimus to say the least. And in the environment it lived in, it would have lived with several other dinosaurs, including Tyrannosaurs such as Alioramus and Tarbosaurus, which may have been its apex predator of its environment. But yeah, so yeah, that's those some facts out of the way. Let's check out the model itself. So Deinocheirus has gotten a bit of popularity ever since, the new body was discovered. To my knowledge, it has appeared in one documentary known as Amazing Dino World, and then more recently in Prehistoric Planet. In fact, that scene along with the Deinocheirus was probably one of my favorite scenes in the documentary. But yeah, and with this model, CollectA definitely did a pretty good job on representing this one. Actually, this was the very first model I got from CollectA, and the very first. No, this wasn't my first collecting model. That one goes to the Hatzegopteryx. My apologies, but yeah. But what I meant to say was this is actually the first, and I kid you not, the first feathered dinosaur I actually put in my collection. So that's definitely pretty cool. And I got this last year during my birthday. So yep, pretty cool. So let us take a look at the figure itself. So yep, let's look at the head shape. Definitely really nice. As I said, its head is definitely more reminiscent of a spoonbill, and they definitely did a really good job capturing more of a peaceful persona on this dinosaur. Like, this definitely doesn't look like some of the older depictions you would see of the dinosaur where it was bloodthirsty and looking all mean. No, this just looks like your average animal, to say the least. Your average, peaceful, oversized camel, to say. But anyways, so we got the nose picked out. We got a tongue sticking out over here. Not really sticking out, but it's noticeable. Yeah, so this first half of the beak is, black. And we got some white stripings that almost divide the red of the head. with the black, so I think that's really cool. And it does look sloppy. It actually looks nicely well done and natural, in my opinion. So yep, really nicely done. The eyes are black, but that's pretty much the norm with CollectA figures, and it doesn't bother me really. Yeah, I really like the red on the head. Maybe makes me think that there's probably maybe a male, since red in nature indicates a more powerful dominance within the male of each animal. And the camera is somewhat going back and forth, but maybe if I will that work? I don't know. But anyways, then of course moving on, we got the bushy bristle mane on its head, mostly black. I will admit that the paint right here is a kind of clumpy here, not exactly that well done, but you can barely notice it in a distance. And you have to be really up close to notice some of the paint clunks on it. But you can still make out some of the sculpting on the bristles anyway, so it's not a real big deal, and not really a big deal breaker on this one. But yep. We also got the hump-like sail. It starts off with a black stripe, and of course we got the black that transition into the blue. Yeah, it definitely looks more camel-like than what previously thought. And it's definitely a pretty strange aspect for any dinosaur to begin with. And strange dinosaurs are freaking awesome, to say the least. So yeah, we got nice blue that's pretty prominent here on both sides. And nicely done, more of a baby blue. Is it baby blue? I'm not entirely sure, but it's a blue that's nicely well done. So we got black stripe going along this until it reaches the end of the tail. But yep, really nicely done. The whole body is nicely covered in feathers. It's not really like a actual like feathery detail, more like a bushy like feather, to say the least. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it, but it looks more furry than feathery. But it's definitely feather, since dinosaurs have feathers. But definitely well picked out. We can see nice individual textures in each of the bushy feathering all over it, which is nicely done. With a nice wash of sort of a tannish gold. Really, really nicely picked out throughout the body. Goes on to the legs. Yeah, really, really nicely done. Yeah, nice wash all over. Even goes on to the tail. Underside here, we've got the wash going down until we reach the lower body. Nicely done. You can see a bit of the red on the neck. Really nicely done. Arms are nicely picked out. Set as I say, only the arms of the dinosaur were known back in 1965 for more than decades, honestly. So all we had was, arms of the dinosaur. And I'm sure a lot of you would recognize these arms in like old dinosaur books, just if they happen to show these arms, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, what did the dinosaur look like? What's that mean? Vicious carnivore? Obviously that's not the case, but it's sort of that nostalgia flair that I'm sure some of you are getting right now. But yeah, arms are picked out. The claws are nicely picked out also. So as I said, the dinosaur may actually not been as ferocious as we thought. Like I said, it may have been more peaceful, like I said, an overgrown camel. So these claws may not been for defense, like let's say the Deinocheirus. So these would have been more for foraging than for other aspects. It may have used them for defense, but not as much. But yes, and then of course we got the feathers on the arms. Now the arms on my figures, on its feathers, were starting to be scratchy, and honestly I'm a bit OCD, so I decided to put on a blue paint on there, and actually it doesn't look half bad. I think I did a pretty decent job actually. I do remember that they had a bit more tone when it comes to the feathering, so that's something that's kind of lost on my figure, but it's barely that noticeable, and if you ask me, it adds my figure a bit more personality, to say the least. So not too bothersome, and it still looks pretty damn good. So yeah, even the feathers are nicely well picked out on the arms. Really nicely done. Yep. And we got the underside, nicely picked out. The underside on mine was also becoming a bit scratchy, which, really didn't suit me that well. So I decided to paint up with, a darkish creamy color. Not too bad. It may not be the best paint job that I've done, but, it does the job well. And we can still see more of the woolly feathering details on the bottom, if we can see. Yeah, of course the base kind of disrupts it, but you can still kind of see it, texturing is well done. Yep. As we move back to the legs, as I said, legs, have the goldish tan wash going on. Nicely picked out. The lower portion of the feet, they're a bit more scaly on all sides. See more scales. Definitely look more bird-like, to say the least. Then we got the toes here. You can see. Yeah, so the toes are mostly a gray color on both of them. And even on the arms here, or claws, I should say, the claws are mostly a grayish color. Nicely picked out, I do say so myself. And of course, CollectA is known to add bases for some of their figures, especially some of their larger theropods. And I know some people complain about the bases being a bit too bland, not having too much details. For me personally, while I would prefer maybe some more details on it, I mean, I do like the inclusions of the footprints here, gives them more character. I will admit that that they could have done a bit more, but at the same time, this is like a $20 model, I think. At least that's how much I paid for it. So, with the figure itself being extremely well detailed and well done, the base is pretty much least of our worries, honestly. So it's not too bothering to me when the entire figure looks pretty fantastic, in my opinion. So yep, on the other side, we got CollectA Deinocheirus 2017 in China. So I've got the tail nicely long, as it should be. Yep, and then it ends in a bushy tail here with some feathers. That we got some white feathering on the tip here. We got some dark blue in the middle, and then of course we got continue on with the black stripes. So yep, very nicely picked out. And same goes for here side. Actually, the underside is a bit more black. But yeah, so, and as I said, the feathering here is more bushy than actual feather-like. So, yeah, definitely. So, there's actually really few Deinocheirus figures out there right now. Like, there is the deluxe version of the Deinocheirus. Then there's also the standard version of the Deinocheirus, which is a good figure from what I've seen, but it's a bit too small for my liking when Deinocheirus, as I said, is literally one of the biggest Ornithomimus, if not the biggest Ornithomimus. So, yeah. And the same thing goes for the Safari Deinocheirus. I mean, that one looks really good. Don't get me wrong, the Safari one looks really good. But, for me personally, I definitely wanted a bit more of a beefier Deinocheirus in terms of size. And my best option was definitely the deluxe figure by CollectA. So I think they did a really solid job on this one. Really solid job. So yeah, with that being said, let us get on to the comparison. So yeah, so the only other Ornithomimus, you can kind of see its head, that I have is the Jurassic World Mattel Fallen Kingdom Gallimimus. And yeah, you can definitely see, some similarities, but definitely some differences. We have the Gallimimus that looks, like a standard image for, any Ornithomimus, minus the feathers, but it's Jurassic, so what do you expect? And of course, we got the Deinocheirus, which is sort of a amalgamation of different animal parts, with, as I said, but still definitely really intriguing to put them side by side. And in terms of accuracy, of course, CollectA wins it, but, you know, doesn't hurt to compare, you know, two members of the dino family. Yep. Nicely done. Next one that I want to compare is, you know, is of course a T-Rex, since, you know, T-Rex, you know, being, you know, big theropod, you know, one of the biggest theropods. You know, we of course got the Pterobatat one, which I customized. So yeah, so let me see. I think the Pterobatat one, yeah, it's definitely a bit bigger than the Deinocheirus here, if you minus the Deinocheirus off its base. So in terms of, like, I think if the T-Rex had its tail straight up, I think it would have been slightly longer, which would have been accurate in real life, since, you know, Deinocheirus was 36 feet, while a T-Rex like Sue would be around 45 feet. So yeah, so, you know, Deinocheirus and T-Rex, definitely a match that would have been interesting. And of course, Deinocheirus would have faced off against its cousin Tarbosaurus. So yep. And actually, I think from what I've read, that one of the fossils from Deinocheirus was having an arm injury bitten by a Tarbosaurus. So definitely pretty interesting, to say the least. So that's pretty cool. And I'm actually thinking of maybe getting the Schleich Tarbosaurus that's releasing that. That would actually be a fun pair to make with the Deinocheirus here by CollectA. So yeah, pretty cool. And lastly, I want to compare my other feathered dinos that I got. Got the Schleich the PNSO Microraptor, and one of my favorites in my entire collection, if I can't get him on his base, just move around. So I got this, Of course, we got the Beast of the Mesozoic Fan's Choice, Pyroraptor. Yep. So, oh, my good camera quality though. So yeah, I got a pretty fair collection of feathered dinosaur. Of course, I do have the Mattel Deinocheirus, which also has feathers, but, you know, it's a bit more of a bigger figure right now. It's, you know, tucked behind other figures, and I don't exactly feel like going all through the house and getting it out, but yeah. So yeah, really nice setup of feathered dinosaur, to say so myself. And I know that some people, they want to have dinosaurs as scaly monsters and all that. With me personally, and I might make this into a discussion, I'm pretty much neutral on how figure companies can do their dinosaurs, to say the least. I have, you know, grown accustomed to more accurate ones for sure, but there's still some charm with, you know, some depictions we have with, you know, the more, you know, exaggerated versions. But like I said, there'll be a discussion for probably another time. But yeah, really nice dynamic of feathered dinos here, and these are probably some of the more colorful additions in my collection. Maybe not so much so for the Oviraptor, but, you know, the other guys, they look really nice. So yep. So clearing these guys out. So yeah, that's been my review of the CollectA Deinocheirus. Overall, a really fantastic figure. Definitely one of the best CollectA figures, in my opinion. If you guys want, you know, a pretty sizable Deinocheirus to add, definitely go with this one. You could also get the standard CollectA figure and the Safari one, but, you know, this one definitely has one that comes to size, so definitely I recommend this one. And, you know, if you're a fan of weird dinosaurs in general, you know, definitely get a Deinocheirus, because Deinocheirus is literally one of the strangest but amazing dinosaurs out there. That is a straight up fact. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys to see you in the next one.